Hey, what's going on, you guys? Hey, welcome back to another episode of iTrack. Big shout out to everybody that has just tapped in, man. Well, it looks like Donald Trump will be getting his signature on U.S. currency. Also, I think they're going to give him a dollar gold coin with his likeness on it. Kanye West is going to be doing his own version of the disclosure in his new music video, so we'll be taking a look at that along with a lot of other interesting clips. But before we get into any of that, do make sure to smash that like button for me, hit that subscribe button, and smash that high button for good measure. Let's go ahead and get right into it.
Breaking news this morning, the email account of the FBI director Kash Patel has been hacked, and a Iran-linked hacker group has claimed responsibility. It breached the personal email account of FBI director Kash Patel. They have published photographs and documents taken from his inbox. A DOJ official confirms Patel's email account had been compromised. The material that was posted from it appeared authentic. The group, known as Handala Hack Team, is known by cybersecurity experts to be one of several names of such entities linked to the Iranian government.
While a change is coming to U.S. currency, President Trump's signature will be added to paper money, marking the first time a sitting president's signature will appear on bills. A Trump-appointed commission also approved a commemorative 24-karat gold coin featuring Trump. It's all part of the administration's plans for the nation's 250th anniversary.
A new push by President Trump to leave his mark across the federal government. His signature will soon appear on the U.S. dollar in honor of America's 250th anniversary. It is the first time a sitting president's John Hancock will appear on paper notes. The currency joins a long list of things that Trump has slapped his name on. The Trump Kennedy Center, there's the fleet of Trump battleships. There are national park passes. That's just a few. Just how long did it take for George Washington to be featured on American currency? 135 years, okay? Jefferson was featured on the nickel 129 years after he left office. Jackson, the $20 bill, 92 years. Washington gets his face on the dollar 72 years after. Lincoln, $5 bill, 49 years. Lincoln, the penny, 44 years. Now, of course, the president currently still in office.
It's going to be interesting to see what kind of symbolism turns up after that signature goes on there and we see what all they do with it, because we already know that that dollar has plenty of symbolism on there that has led to tons of conspiracy. So we'll definitely stay tuned to that.
Kanye's new music video is demonic because it showcases a skin suit being removed and revealing an alien. And what's very interesting is right before the alien is revealed, there is a lyric that says, "Wake up to the new me," shortly before the alien is revealed underneath the Kanye suit. Now, is this truth in plain sight? Is there something more going on here? Because he also had the Michael Jackson impersonator in this music video. So is there somebody else impersonating Kanye? Something else very interesting is he showcases a black horse. You know, the 4 horsemen and the black horse, what it represents. So again, this is truth in plain sight yet again, and this music video is very demonic in my honest opinion, because he is pushing the alien stuff just like everybody else. Again, this video is for entertainment purposes only. I'm just pointing out certain things in Kanye's latest music video. Father, what do you think?
Hey, Kanye West has been very outspoken since the very start, and I think they're starting to give him a second chance because now he's starting to do arena tours in America, so it's saying a lot. So maybe now, instead of yelling the truth out loud, he might just start putting symbolisms in his videos just like artists did in the past. And if you figure it out, it was meant for you to know.
That's as far as it goes on video. Taking the video.
What is going on? Do you see that?
The
FBI director just got hacked, and the people who did it posted everything online, with an Iran-linked group called the Handala Hack Team publishing Kash Patel's personal emails, documents, and resume on their website and Telegram channel. The files appear to cover personal and work correspondence between 2010 to 2019, and this is reportedly retaliation, with the DOJ having just seized 4 online domains tied to the group, and Handala's response was to go directly at the head of the FBI. And their statement was, Kash Patel, the current head of the FBI, who once saw his name displayed with pride on the agency's headquarters, will now find his name among the list of successfully hacked victims. The so-called impenetrable systems of the FBI were brought to their knees within hours by our team. And then adding, we decided to respond to this ridiculous show in a way that will be remembered forever. But to be clear, this does appear to be Patel's personal email, not FBI systems. So, the brought to their knees framing, it is doing some heavy lifting, but the optics are still rough. Trump's Iran war, it's still ongoing. The group's been active since it started, and the person now responsible for protecting America from exactly this kind of threat just had his personal correspondence dumped on Telegram by people that he's supposed to be stopping.
It always seemed kind of obvious to me that there would be some kind of uptick in cyber attacks, because you can do just as much damage on the internet as you could on land.
This video was filmed after he was loaded into the ambulance.
Do you know, I haven't seen some of these old ones.
According to the story with this video, the young man inside the ambulance died from internal injuries shortly after arriving at the hospital.
Bro, this is security right now.
Hi, oh, it's waving!
Wait, so New York is trying to shut down the city and turn off lights at 11 p.m. statewide? You heard what I just said? They're proposing a bill in New York that will shut down most outdoor lighting from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning. And they're calling this the Dark Skies Act. And you already know how New York nightlife is right now. Just imagine New York with no light. It's going to be a lot of unwanted action if they get the chance to pass this bill. Mind you, they're trying to push it out there like they're trying to pass this bill because of light pollution. Since when have we had a problem with light pollution? Or does it have something to do with this war and that power grid that they planned on doing something to? Because the United States is over there doing something that they ain't supposed to be doing. Mind you, New York might just be the pilot city. They might just try and do this shit everywhere. But let me ask you a simple question. What happens when a city gets darker? People move different. Businesses move different. Everything slows down. That's not lighting. That's behavior. Because when you control environment, you control patterns. You control when people go out. You control how long they stay out. Think about this. New York ain't just a random place. New York is one of the busiest, most active cities in the world. And you talking about shutting the lights off at 11 p.m.? And that goes back to what I said. This might just be a pilot program for everybody else in the United States. Because if they can make it normal here, they can make it normal anywhere. Be honest. Do you think this is serious? Jump in them comments, man. I'm out.
Now, they're already conserving energy in a lot of other countries. Thailand, the Philippines, even Australia is taking a hit right now. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this roll out in America.
30 minutes into the process, he said to me, in a very distressed way, by the way, we've discovered a base on the backside of the moon. And then he proceeded to put photographs down in front of me, and clearly in these photographs were structures, mushroom-shaped buildings, spherical buildings, and towers. And at that point, I was very concerned because I knew we were working on compartmentalized security. He had breached security, and I was actually frightened at that moment, and I did not question him any further. And a few moments later, someone did come into the room. I worked there for 3 more days, and I remember going home and naively thinking, I can't wait to hear about this on the evening news. And here it is, more than 30 years later, and I hope we hear about it tonight. And I will testify under oath before Congress that what I'm saying is the truth.
This child is at the center of one of the most scientifically unexplainable mysteries ever. He is convinced he's lived a past life, so he was put to the test, and the results are hard to ignore. Starting around 2 years old, Luke Ruhlman started obsessing over the name Pam. Eventually, his mom asked Luke who Pam was, and he said,
Pam was me once. Really. God threw me back down and my new mom named me Luke.
Now, kids can say the strangest things, but over the months, Luke started talking about how he used to have black hair before he died. Confused by the death comments, Luke's mom started asking a lot more questions, and Luke had plenty of answers. He said he used to live in Chicago, he would take the train, and one night he had to jump out of a window during a massive building fire. So his mom started to investigate. She found that in 1993, well before Luke was born, there was a devastating fire at the Paxton Hotel in Chicago. 19 people died, and one of the victims who jumped from a window to escape the flames was a 30-year-old woman named Pam Robinson. Way too many things were lining up, so Luke's parents gave him another test. They hid Pam's picture in a lineup of random women and asked if he recognized anyone. Instantly, Luke pointed to Pam. But shortly after the connections to Pam were made, Luke's mom said he just stopped talking about her, almost like he just had to get it out and was finished once he finally did.
You could only imagine what Luke's mom is really going through. Imagine her son telling her, hey, you know what, I used to be somebody else in the past. She goes and looks it up and confirms what he's saying. Yeah, she needs a little bit of prayer right about now.
This is a foot unboxing after a 100-mile run. To be able to run 100 miles is insanely impressive. But this is the price you pay.
No freaking way!
These kinds of intense feats of endurance can easily transition from healthy exercise to damaging exercise, placing significant wear and tear on your body, and this is just one sign that it might be going a little too far.
This live-action version of Alice in Wonderland is nightmare fuel. It was marketed as a family movie, but the special effects and the makeup effectively make it a horror movie. The makeup effects are especially creepy because the characters appear expressionless. The film's definitely not for kids, but it makes for a good midnight movie.
Hey, it is all red in Australia right now. That's way beyond creepy and just about terrifying.
Ask ChatGPT to give the blunt truth about human imagination.
Your imagination is not in your head. Huh. Well, that's kind of interesting. Tell me more. It's one of the primary control knobs on your nervous system. Your endocrine and immune tone, in other words, your hormones, are affected by your imagination as well as your immune system. Perception of reality and therefore behavior at scale. That's really interesting. Humanity is currently using imagination mostly as an addiction engine. Doom, fantasies, grievances, consumer identity, instead of the biology shaping simulation tool that it is. Wow.
We now have the ability to turn animals into cyborgs. For example, Winter the dolphin, she was found tangled in a crab trap and lost her tail, so she got a silicone prosthetic tail and relearned how to swim. Matala the Asian elephant stepped on a landmine and lost a foot, so she went to the elephant hospital in Thailand and got a new one. Nakio is one of the first dogs ever to have prosthetics. He was abandoned by his owners when their house got repossessed. He was found frozen in a puddle, got frostbite, and lost all 4 paws. Now many dogs have prosthetics, and Beauty the eagle, poachers shot off her beak and she was found in a landfill. She was supposed to be euthanized, but she got a 3D printed beak instead. Svika the turtle, run over by a lawnmower, so they gave him tiny wheels. Now he is Turtle Roomba. Tons of horses also get prosthetics instead of being euthanized. Yellowstone Veterinary Hospital can help with this. Mr. Stubbs the alligator got his tail bitten off in a fight and couldn't swim. Got a 3D printed tail. He died later anyway because he swallowed a scorpion. Uzanka the stork lost her entire bill because a human did this on purpose. Without it, she couldn't eat. Fig the fox with a bionic leg was rescued from a fur farm. He learned how to unfasten the leg himself and throw it across the room. And this abandoned goldfish that couldn't swim, so a dude named Derek built it a tiny wheelchair to help keep it afloat. No notes, thank you.
These are real glow tires for cars in the 60s. Goodyear created a translucent tire made of neophane that would glow from the inside out. This is what the yellow ones looked like when they weren't glowing. So the neophane tire would be dyed a color, and then there were lights inside the tire that would make it glow. They had basically any color you wanted. Goodyear thought these tires could double as signals and brake lights. The idea of matching the tires to a car's color scheme or upholstery was very exciting to people. The idea was that people could own a bunch of different colored sets of tires and change them based on even what they were wearing. But the neothane had poor grip in the rain and they would get dirty really easily and it would dull the glow. So they were never officially released to buy.
Remember this 24-year-old MIT student that invented this device that can read your thoughts? Well, OpenAI just stole his invention, and no one's talking about it. 7 years ago, Arnav Kapoor demoed a device on 60 Minutes which wraps behind your ear and reads the words that you're saying inside of your head, not saying out loud, inside of your head. The premise of this is that it's a much more intuitive interface with technology than typing or even speaking. So the way this works is your brain fires electrical signals to your facial and vocal cord muscles when you intentionally and silently voice words, even when your mouth is closed. Then his device picks up on those signals and it turns them into text. It even uses an AI large language model which answers your questions silently through bone conduction, which is vibrations through your skull that only you can hear. So there's no voice in and no voice out. It's just you silently talking to a machine. And the demo on his website even shows him and his co-founder both wearing the device and speaking to each other by simply thinking. So in 2025, Kapoor decided to commercialize this and he turned it into a company and he called it Alter Ego, which is the world's first near telepathic wearable. That same year, Sam Altman's OpenAI started building a wearable device codenamed Sweet Pea, which is led by Johnny Ive, the designer of the iPhone, whose company was recently acquired by OpenAI, and it uses the same technology. It connects to ChatGPT, silent speech, exactly the same concept. Think about that. A young inventor builds a near telepathy device that actually works and tries to commercialize it. Then someone with more money, more reach, and more press shows up building the exact same thing. In the 1800s, an Italian inventor who you've probably never heard of, named Antonio Meucci, built the first working voice transmission device years before Alexander Graham Bell. But Bell had the money, secured the patents, and commercialized the telephone. And everyone forgot Antonio Meucci's name. Yet Alexander Bell got credit for inventing the telephone and is the name that we all learn about in school. I'm not saying that history repeats itself, but it sure does rhyme.
I can't say that I'm surprised. You know, the reality that we live in right now, it's not about who does it first, it's about who does it best.
Everybody is focused on energy shortages, but they're missing what happens next. And that's the part that should worry you. New York is already advancing a bill to cut off outdoor lights by 11 p.m. Why? To conserve energy. Chevron just warned that California could face a fuel crisis if tensions with Iran don't ease. Now, that's one of the largest energy companies in the world warning about a supply disruption. And this is just the beginning. This isn't about Iran anymore. Countries are rationing fuel. Flights are getting cut. Governments are pushing people to stay home. And that's not the real story. It's just a symptom. What's actually happening is a global power shift, and energy is becoming the most important asset on the planet because energy just doesn't power cars. It powers everything. Data centers, AI, supply chains, financial system. Without energy, nothing runs. When resources get tight, history shows what comes next. What you're seeing right now, rationing in multiple countries, governments trying to reduce travel, companies cutting operations, policy changes. This is what constrained systems look like. The next phase is not just higher gas prices, it's prioritization. Industries over individuals, governments over citizens, systems over freedom. It's what I've been saying for years. The future will be controlled by three things: compute, data, and energy. And energy is the foundation of it all. Most people don't understand what's happening until it's too late, but not you, because you follow me and I make sure I break down exactly who wins and what comes next.
The cybercab was just spotted driving on public roads in San Francisco with no driver, no steering wheel, and no side mirrors. This is the full production configuration operating in a real-world environment, and it's not just California. A cybercab was seen in Oklahoma City, and 2 more were spotted driving in a convoy near Tulsa, Oklahoma. Meanwhile, in Dallas, someone found what looks like a robotaxi staging lot full of Model Ys with rear camera washers, prepped for fleet use. Tesla has said that they're targeting 7 cities for robotaxi launch in the first half of this year. And mass production of the cybercab is supposed to start in April.
At the same time, there's supposed to be some kind of energy crunch. All these electric companies are still going full force with these electric cars that have no steering wheel, no side view mirrors. Are you connecting the dots yet?
It was a horrendous week on Wall Street. Stocks lost $5 trillion of value as the global economy is rapidly in free fall due to the Iran war.
The FDA is now officially warning that 29 different weight loss supplements that are being sold on Amazon right now literally contain poison. So this is obviously insane, but the FDA just flagged 29 different weight loss supplement brands being sold right now on Amazon and eBay. Because instead of the ingredient that's listed on the label, they contain a completely different plant that is straight up toxic to the human body. They're saying that this ingredient not only causes confusion, but also convulsions and heart failure. And it's being sold right now on Amazon as a diet supplement with 5-star reviews. The products are being marketed as containing a natural root used in traditional medicine. But whenever the FDA went and tested them, the root wasn't in there at all. It had been swapped out for a poisonous plant native to Central America, and nobody was told, and it's obviously not on the label. And they're also saying that this isn't even the first time, because in 2022, a toddler was poisoned after getting into their mother's supply of one of these exact supplements. And the FDA is also saying that even if you stopped taking them weeks ago, you should still contact your doctor because the effects can be delayed.
And scary enough, that's not the first time I've heard of something like that. The last time I heard of a situation, it had to do with multivitamins. So definitely be careful what you're ordering on some of these platforms.
Sorry, I said you'll never have to use it, but sometimes you have to use it. And Cuba's next, by the way, but pretend I didn't say that, please. Pretend I didn't say that. Please, 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 media, please disregard that statement. Thank you very much. Cuba's next.
These 7 celebrities are doing something every celebrity will copy. They're moving their identity into federal trademark law so they can treat AI clones like counterfeit Rolexes. Now they can block anyone from stealing their voice, their face, or even their signature silhouette.
Right after I bought the house from the former owner, she came in one last time to grab her security camera. She had one on that wall and one right here, and she was wearing her crucifix. And when she went to start taking the cameras down, she reported to me that the crucifix lifted up and started strangling her. She grabbed it, held it down, and then as she went to grab the extension cords that were plugged into the cameras, she claimed that the extension cord wrapped around her neck and started choking her. So they grabbed her and another woman that was with her, grabbed all the stuff, yanked it off the wall, ran out, and has never been back since, and refuses to go in the house to this day.
You're looking at the ancient Egyptian Book of the Dead. Well, pieces of it. It's not an actual book as we might think of one today, but rather a series of ritual spells, including instructions and incantations that help the deceased find their way to the afterlife. These spells were inscribed on different materials, including mummy wrappings, coffins, figurines, and papyrus scrolls like these ones. The spells were meant to be spoken aloud by the deceased's spirit as they navigated different afterlife encounters. And now you can see the scrolls for yourself at the Getty Villa Museum. See you there.
What's up with all the meteor sightings lately? Have you seen any of them? Every day it seems like I get on TikTok, there's a new incredible video of meteors breaking up in the sky, causing some to say that what we're really seeing are space weapons, maybe missiles being broken up, alien craft in the sky, or maybe some forewarnings of a bigger, badder, Earthwrecker, dinosaur-level meteor that's about to come our way. And that's the reason why so many elite billionaires and celebrities now have bunkers. They don't want us to know what's really coming, and this is just a hint. They know something is coming. That's why there's such a big grab going on right now for all the world's resources. Everyone's trying to get what they can before the next big meteor comes. When is it coming? There's so many theories online about what's happening in the sky. What really seems to be happening is that we're actually entering fireball season, where meteors start appearing in the night sky all the way up until the Lyrid meteor showers in April. That's when it's supposed to peak. So it might not actually be the world ending. It might just be a normal thing in April. So either way, stay safe and don't forget to look up.
I mean, according to what we know, if that meteor is big enough, the world definitely could be ending.
There's a portal opening up in front of my house right now. Yep. Yo, it's getting brighter and brighter. Oh my God. Jay, Naira, Kenzo, it's like a portal. It's 100% a portal. Google it, ChatGPT it, look up portal, and look at that fucking thing and tell me that's not a fucking portal. It is a portal. It's round. It's coming out of the light. It's a portal. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Look at the circle, though. You see... Ask, what, who should I ask?
Probably heard of psychopaths and narcissists, but fewer people know about Machiavellianism. In psychology, Machiavellianism describes a cold, strategic social style, high on manipulation, low on empathy, and laser focused on personal gain. Research shows people high in these traits are less impulsive than people with psychopathy. They don't rush, they plan, they calculate, they use charm and logic and timing to get what they want. Studies also show they're especially skilled at impression management. They learn what you value, what you fear, and what you need, and then they quietly steer outcomes in their favor. They don't rely on emotional outbursts. They prefer subtle control, influence that's so smooth you may not even notice it happening. By the time you feel the strings, they've already been pulled.
Fun fact of the day. Rabbits were not particularly associated with carrots until the 1940 Merry Melodies short, A Wild Hare, the debut of Bugs Bunny in which he casually eats a carrot. This was a contemporary pop culture reference to Clark Gable's performance in It Happened One Night.
Can someone tell me what's up with Macaulay Culkin?
Real men can wear nail polish. You know, real men can wear pink. Hi, I'm Macaulay Culkin, and I'm here with GQ. Every year I try to do something different. I don't want to go to parties, I want to go to galas.
I can't put my finger on it. I feel like he has one of the strangest energies in Hollywood to me right now, and I'm so confused as to why after 35 years off screen, Hollywood is bringing him back. But there is something so dark about him and his wife. There is something very sinister going on here, and it's like the more they try to push that they're a normal couple and a normal family, the stranger it looks. I'm gonna be honest with you, I think the roles are a little bit reversed in this relationship, and it shows in about every single photo shoot that they have together. Like I said, the more that they try to pretend that they're in love or they're normal or whatever the heck, the odder it gets. You see pictures like this and it's like, yeah, all so sweet, but again, why? And it also has a weird vibe, and it also shows role reversal, like he's the princess, you know what I'm saying?
It's cool too, so here I am, wearing this thing with matching nails. For Fashion Week, I'm doing like things that match the outfits and so forth. Usually at home, sometimes I just do one red nail, or, you know, kind of like, or I do messy nails, so like, you know, I paint them and then I scratch them immediately. So it look, you know, it's like a scruffy boy kind of thing. You know?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with, he's hiding something. It's honestly giving me Benny Blanco vibes, I'm not gonna lie. The dude's walking around looking like the set of Ellen DeGeneres, aka Jeffrey Epstein, painting his fingernails. Ushered back into Hollywood looking like a real PIMP. Looking like you've had about 4 lobotomies. Yeah, something's up.
You know what? All the Home Alone series were a part of my childhood and one of my favorite movies growing up. So I'm gonna let Macaulay Culkin live. We're gonna just let him live.
Hey, check this out, bro. So this video was taken 4 days ago in Northern California. Now, this is 2 a.m., bro. Mind you, this is 2 a.m. Are we looking at the moon in the moon? The sun in the moon? Or something totally different? What's really happening? At the same time, scientists are also saying that the Earth has been spinning faster, and in the next few days we'll be experiencing some of the shortest days. So, is it related? I don't know.
For those of you that don't know, this is Planet X, or aka Nibiru. According to conspiracy theories and myths from the ancient Egyptians to the Mayan, they believed that the sun had a twin. And they believe that every couple thousands of years that the two suns' orbits get together like the serpent, like the S shape. So according to these myths, every time these two suns align, it would set off intense geomagnetic storms, and this would trigger actual pole shifts in the Earth, which explains all this crazy weather phenomenon that we've been having. And look, here's proof. This is an image from NASA showing the planet passing behind the sun. At the same time this passed behind the sun, it triggered severe geomagnetic storms here on Earth. For reference, the sun is the small circle in the middle of that black dot. So this object is almost bigger than the sun. And look at these storms at the same time that the planet was approaching us. Look at the crazy weather. From the American continent to Africa, every single continent was hit with these microburst storms. Look at this. These intense, crazy storms were triggered by that planet and the geomagnetic storm. These are some images coming out of Texas. So around the same time Texas and North America was getting hit, this is the African continent. This is Egypt getting hit with that storm. It looks like... So this basically takes me back to the myth that every religions basically have about end times. And this also connects back to the Mayan calendar when the world was supposed to end. Maybe these ancient civilizations were more in tune and connected spiritually with the cosmics than we knew. And here's extreme weather from Australia. So all in the span of a week, Planet X comes, major geostorm happens, and all these crazy weather phenomenons all around the world. These have to be connected. These aren't just random events happening. Something is happening that they are not telling us.
Disney CEO Bob Iger's autobiography, and here are some of the reasons why he is one of the greediest people of all time. Iger admits in the book that his favorite superhero of all time was Charles Foster Kane. Bob Iger openly admits to suing pretty much anybody. He even sued recording artist Bon Iver for having consonants in his name in the same places that Bob Iger has consonants in his name. Iger admitted on his biography that he one time suggested that voice actors for Disney be compensated in Disney coupons, like this one that says, "1 piece of new artwork by me." When Iger first joined the parks department at Disney, he said that concessions were losing money. So one of his recommendations was that they sprinkle the funnel cakes with that substance from that movie that Johnny Depp starred in order to get people addicted. As if funnel cakes aren't addicting enough.
In case you weren't aware, Steven Spielberg is making an Alien movie, and we just got the trailer for it. And it's filled with all kinds of weirdness and awesomeness at the exact same time. The log line of the film is, if you found out we weren't alone, if someone showed you, proved it to you, would that frighten you? This summer, the truth belongs to 7 billion people. We are coming close to Disclosure Day. It's called Disclosure Day, and it stars Emily Blunt as a meteorologist who is overcome by a mysterious entity. And this man, played by Josh O'Connor, is making it his life's work to prove to the rest of the world that alien life exists. It's written by David Coop, who has also worked with Steven Spielberg in the past on Jurassic Park and War of the Worlds. So that shows some really good promise that this will be a fun original movie. When this movie comes out next year, it'll have been about 8 years since we got a science fiction movie from Steven Spielberg, being that his last 2 movies were The Fabelmans and West Side Stories, which were both dramas. It's always fun getting a new Steven Spielberg movie because you never know what he's going to make. Is he going to make something that's super dramatic? Is he going to make something that's super fun? Is he going to make a science fiction movie? Is he going to make something that's devastating? It's always fun getting a new Steven Spielberg movie. The trailer didn't give much away, which is great. Just showed us a couple car chasing scenes and some plot details, so I'm excited.
I can't help but notice all the famous people want to jump on the Disclosure bandwagon. We got Kanye doing his own version of the Disclosure in his music video. Now Steven Spielberg has a movie about Disclosure. Are they all getting a memo? Let me know. If there's something I don't know, tap in.
Wanting to make the first UFO movie I've made in 50 years, because it'll be almost 50 years since Close Encounters was released in 1977, was when the New York Times came out in 2017. It's an article written by Aline Cooper and Rosenthal and I believe Leslie Keane. And it was an article about the Navy pilot who was flying a Navy FA-18F fighter jet off the Nimitz, the aircraft carrier Nimitz, and had seen something on his FLIR and had essentially recorded it and reported it. And the New York Times, and I believe it might have been, I forgot who leaked it to the Times, but it was leaked to the New York Times. And they wrote this very serious article about, is there a cover-up? Has the government or the military, Air Force, the Navy been covering this up? And it was just a fascinating story, and it completely rekindled my interest in this subject matter. And then, of course, there was a subcommittee hearing in 2023, which some of you might have seen, with three former, one person worked in intelligence, one was a Navy pilot, and two were in the military. And it was a fascinating Q&A under oath, by the way. And so my feeling right now is this. I don't have any information exclusive to me that all of you here, if you read about this and have seen the plethora of documentaries about this dating back to 2018, where these documentaries really started to roll out, I don't know any more than any of you do. But I have a very strong, sneaking suspicion that we are not alone here on Earth right now.
Now, I'm gonna need Steven Spielberg to stop the cap. I know he knows more than what he's letting on to, but I want to see the movie so we can kind of depict what exactly he knows.
There are seashells in the rock at the top of Mount Everest. How? Now, technically, those shells are from a long extinct species called ammonites. They went extinct around 66 million years ago. Now, it just so happens that Mount Everest started forming around 50 or 60 million years ago. So what happened? The top of Mount Everest actually used to be at the bottom of the ocean. Mount Everest, and the Himalayas for that matter, formed when the Eurasian and Indian tectonic plates started colliding with each other. So that's how the ocean floor wound up being pushed up over tens of millions of years to form the top of Mount Everest. And why you find these 66 million year old ammonites at the top of Mount Everest. That is mind-blowing. So follow us to make sure you don't miss any more mind-blowing content.
And if you notice, all across the world, some of our major lakes have been slowly evaporating, losing water, and we're getting to see more and more of the mountains or hills surrounding them. So that makes sense. Well, you guys see, that's another one in the books, man. I appreciate you guys for always stopping by, watching and learning with me. If you haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button for me. Hit that hype button and smash the subscribe button. If you're not a part of the iTrack fan, man, we're trying to run the channel up to 200,000 by the end of the year. So let's go ahead and run it up, and I will definitely catch you on the next one.